Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band From Ringside.
Tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast, we have your Hell in the Cell recap, including Roman versus Ray, which happened on Friday. Just because. We have AEW Jake Hager fights Wardlow in an octagon, and I have lots of thoughts on that. And we also have NXT, and some SmackDown, some Raw, a bunch of other shit. I completely fucked this up, but you know what? Let's leave it in. Tonight on the Band From Ringside podcast.
Like we edit a goddamn thing in this podcast.
Yeah, we never edited it anyway.
Curious to say that's the great part about it.
It fucked me up when you opened your beer. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band From Ringside podcast. As always, I am your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Third Stringer Bell. And sitting right across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. I told you I was watching The Wire. Right? What's going on, JCB?
Allow us to power heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band From Ringside podcast, volume 211, chapter 3, verse 14 of the Good Smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the Holy Trinity of BFR. Big shout out to Good Cop, Bad Cop podcast. I'm looking forward to being on the show tomorrow afternoon, so look forward to that.
Thanks for the invite, Good Cop, Bad Cop.
Like you got time to be doing that anyway. I'm the only one that doesn't have time because I'm the only one that doesn't have the life between the three of us. You got one of us moving halfway across the country. You're getting ready to have a baby.
I am.
Okay, and what do? Nothing. So I'm going to jump on.
You go on Good Cop, Bad Cop.
So for a little bit, so we're going to do a little cross-promotional deal. So look for that.
How about
tomorrow.
You live with my 7.5 months pregnant wife for a little bit, and I'll go on the Good Cop, Bad Cop wrestling podcast, so I can do it. Can we do that instead?
It's 1 hour. Me and Aaron can get along for 1 hour, I think.
Okay, cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're coming at you from muggy South City, St. Louis, from Jason Bell's beautiful South City apartment. Zach is moving across the country. He seems to be having the time of his life.
Yeah, I think he's in Wyoming today.
He's at the Grand Tetons, so wherever that's at. I think it's in Nevada, maybe Utah. Hey, listeners, go ahead and tweet us how dumb we are.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, he texted me today. He's like, I'm not going to have any service. We didn't expect you to come on today, Zach. No. We hope that he's staying safe. From what I can tell,
they're having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get too into this, I want to tell you about Bill's Beard. Bill's Beard Company. Bill's Beard Company makes beard balms, beard shampoos, beard oils, shower bombs, bath bombs. My wife makes them in-home. They are great. She sells them out of our place. I can also sell them to you. We ship for free anywhere across the globe. Just reach me at BFR Bill, and if you want to talk shit and tell Jason how right I was this week and how wrong he was, you can reach him at BFR JCB. Listen, before we get into the 3 count, I want to have a conversation with you.
Okay,
have you seen any of the Fast and Furious movies?
The majority of them, yeah.
You've seen the majority of them?
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 I might have missed.
Yeah, I think I missed 5 and probably 6.
The one with Charlize Theron, I haven't seen that from beginning to end. And the one with when they first introduced Jason Statham's character, I don't think I've seen that one from beginning to end.
That's 4, which I think is just Fast and Furious. But my question is, do you enjoy those movies?
Yeah, it's mindless fun. I'm planning on going to see the new one on our holiday break or whatever from work.
Pretty fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun movies. Yeah. I like action movies. I think I'm an avowed John Wick fan.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of up in that same mantra.
So when you watch these previews, these trailers for Fast 9 or F9 or whatever the fuck they're calling it, does John Cena make you want to see it more, make you want to see it less, or neutral?
It's neutral. I would be lying to say if I'm a little curious to see how Cena does in this, because this is a big fucking deal. It's a summer blockbuster movie. They put a lot of money into it, so they invested into it. I did see recently that he wasn't a huge fan of the WWE movies that he's done. So I think he's got something to prove. John Cena with something to prove usually comes out with a good product. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't make me... I'm more interested in the movie arc itself versus John Cena being in the movie, if that makes sense.
Fair enough, because you're a fan of the franchise.
Yeah, we've come this far. I want to see where it goes from here.
I don't know, like, the inner workings of the franchise, and I like franchises. I will say that seeing John Cena in the trailers as the villain makes me want to see it less. Because I'm like, I can't take this motherfucker seriously as being a villain ever, because he never flipped heel. Now, if they would have had Roman Reigns come back from Hobbs and Shaw or whatever, and then he's the villain, now I've seen Roman Reigns as a heel. And now I'm like, sure, I can see Roman Reigns as a heel.
Well, in Cena's
it always
defense,
looks like, when Cena's looking serious, it always looks like he's half smiling. You know what I mean? It
little
never
bit.
looks like he's being serious.
There's a part on the trailer where they do a close-up of him or whatever, and they zoom in real close.
And he does not look like a serious person.
Not really. It kind of looks like it's a little smirk, but he's mad, but he's kind of smirking like, I just got one up on you kind of smirk. You know
by getting paid for that movie, probably.
Like I said, Cena, I think people forget when he first really got started, he was the doctor of thugonomics, and that was a heel gimmick. Like it or not, it was a heel gimmick. Okay?
That was a long time ago.
All right. I'm not disagreeing with that. Now, should he have flipped heels somewhere between the doctor and thugonomics and hustle, loyalty, and respect? Or after that, more so? Yeah, sure.
Or just between thugonomics and Fast 9? Like maybe at any time?
At one point, I think he should have flipped heel, but Vince didn't want to do that. I mean, he wasn't the one that flipped Hulk Hogan heel. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the one to flip, Ultimate Warrior heel. Not like saying he would do it. The big ones, Austin, Bret Hart, Rock, he was the one to flip him, to make them a bigger star, so to speak. Not saying that Bret Hart wasn't a big star already, but flipping him heel just, gave him a little different longevity in his career. This is the same thing. It's just, we just didn't get to see it, and that's a shame because, like I said, when the Firefly Funhouse came out, one of my favorite parts about that was seeing John Cena in the NWO shirt. It's not going to happen, but it was just the fact of, what if John Cena turned heel? What if, what's the ramifications of that? So that was the fun part of that. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's hard to take Cena seriously as a heel, but I mean, it's Fast 9. A lot of this shit is going to be hard to take seriously.
No, I mean, yeah, that's not the point. I know they go out to space in this one. I guess what I'm saying is, I'll wait.
They're going to space?
Yeah, I mean, I saw
Lord,
something on the
Jesus
trailer
Christ.
where they go in zero gravity or whatever.
Okay,
I guess what I'm saying is, I'll wait for Netflix and then I'll watch it while I'm looking at my phone.
Dude, I miss fucking movie popcorn, man. Okay, I miss getting fucking stoned out of my gourd, walking in, buying my ticket, getting a big ass bucket of fucking popcorn, get the biggest fucking soda humanly possible. I'm in narrow ass down. For 2 hours.
I'm in the Big Brothers program, and I got my little 10-year-old, and I know he has said to me that he wants to go see Space Jam, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go see Space Jam,
Your
motherfucker.
boy.
Yeah, with LeBron James?
Yeah.
No, my boy's Trey Young. Oh. Or as I like to call him, Trey TL. Let's get to that 3 count.
So quickly how we changed.
LeBron's a loser, man. He lost in the first round. And Jason, tell us what the 1 count is.
Well, we're going to do all things Hell in a Cell in this kind of a surprising move. We took Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns off of the main pay-per-view card and put them on SmackDown for the SmackDown main event on Friday night. So let's start there first. Obviously, if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert, Roman Reigns did retain. He retained clean in a submission, almost a guillotine submission. I don't think he's used this one before, but it looked a little nasty with him kind of almost jerking up Rey Mysterio off the mat. So once again, Roman Reigns retains over Rey Mysterio. I'll be honest, so far with the matches that Roman Reigns had as champion, this is probably my least favorite, and I'm not saying that this was a bad match. This was probably just my least favorite of the matches. The match was good. don't get me wrong. Rey Mysterio came out, played the ultimate underdog role. Even before Daniel Bryan, there was Rey Mysterio. So he came out, looked good in spots, but ultimately this is about the Roman Reigns story. At the end, it was interesting to see Jimmy Uso come out and quote-unquote acknowledge Roman Reigns. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be long-term, but we can dig into that in a little bit. But no Jey Uso on the scene, which obviously leads us moving forward to Money in the Bank and what's next for Roman Reigns. Like I said, just on the match itself, the match was good. It felt like a Hell in a Cell match, unlike some other matches on Sunday that didn't feel like Hell in a Cell matches. We'll go into that in a little bit.
Well, it was personal.
It was personal, and that's why I think made it a reason for it to be a Hell in a Cell match. From there, like I said, the outcome I thought obviously was predictable, but it just, for me personally, when you line them up against all the other Roman Reigns matches as him being champion, this one just fell a little short. I can't say why it is. I can't say that, there was a botch here or they missed something there in ring psychology. I think they nailed it. It's just for whatever reason, this was my least favorite. It
was on television, for one. You didn't expect it. What I expect happened is Fox said, hey, we paid you $1 billion for WWE programming. Give us a Hell in the Cell. And they gave him Roman versus Rey. Honestly, I think that Bayley and Bianca probably deserved a Hell in a Cell also, which they got. Well, it's the third match, right?
If you want one, then I would have suggested giving that one to them first. I don't think that it got personal enough to where, and I guess that's where I guess my problem with Hell in a Cell matches are now starting to go with. You said it on multiple occasions where now it just feels like we're just doing it to do it. It's not a blow off to a feud. It's not the end to a story. It's just now, okay, because Hell in a Cell is coming up, we need to have matches that are Hell in a Cell matches. I thought KO and Sami Zayn should have been a Hell in a Cell match just on principle alone. I mean, it's KO and Sami Zayn, for God's sakes. Don't get me wrong. It's Bayley and Bianca for the title. Okay, I get that. So you want to up the stakes a little bit, but I don't think we got to that point in their storyline where, the Hell in a Cell had to come in to, to even the odds or, settle the score or whatever. Lashley, Drew, yeah, okay, I totally get that from the story they're telling. And then on top of it, the match itself, it was almost like, it reconfirmed the fact that was supposed to be Hell in a Cell. I just didn't think Bayley and Bianca deserved it.
I thought Rey and Roman was good. Yeah. Like, there were no surprises. We knew that it was going to be a story. There was going to be a well-told story. They gave Rey enough offense. Nobody thought that Rey was going to go over. No. So it might as well be on SmackDown. I get it. As far as the pay-per-view goes, I liked Bayley and Bianca Belair a lot. I liked the finish, the KOD onto the ladder. Yeah, was a good finish. Looked a little stiff. The Drew Lashley match was really good. You're supposed to have a cage match. The idea of a cage match, at least in the old days, was supposed to be so there'd be no interference. They introduced MVP into the Hell in the Cell. They did it in a clever way, I thought, and
because the referee's out, Drew's got him out.
And then he locked him in there. He gave him the Claymore, and then ultimately it ended up costing him the match. What I really like, and we're not going to go into Raw right now, but I like how Drew didn't really make excuses on Raw, and he's going to keep going forward and keep trying to get the belt. All good.
Babyface move.
The rest of the pay-per-view was decent, I guess. I could watch Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fight all the time. That was a fun match. I think Kevin Owens won. Isn't that right? Did he win? Did he lose? I don't remember. I mean, it was so non-consequential. It was so inconsequential.
Oh, shit.
Who won?
No, Sami Zayn won.
Sami Zayn won? Okay. I know that Seth Rollins beat Cesaro. in another good match.
Right.
A really good match. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair ended in the DQ. And Charlotte Flair says, you're learning, which I appreciate. Let me ask you this. Do you think they brought Rhea Ripley up too soon? It seems like she's so tinkered with, and like everything they're doing, they don't know whether or not they want to make her babyface or a heel, and it doesn't seem to me like it's a tweener kind of thing. It seems to me like they honestly don't know what to do with her.
No, I agree. For me, I think it's less about Rhea and more about Charlotte. You know, this feels like they're trying to do the whole Becky Lynch thing where even though it was clear that Becky was the obvious baby face in their rivalry to start, because it always felt like, you know, Charlotte was getting the opportunities, Becky Lynch was one step behind, and then finally Becky was like, you know, enough's enough. She flips on Charlotte, and the crowd immediately runs towards the Becky Lynch, Team Becky side of things. I totally get that. I think this is kind of the same thing where they really like Charlotte, obviously, and they want to try to put her in the best light possible. So for whatever reason, it kind of feels like she's the babyface, and even though she's not a babyface. It's simple. Rhea Ripley lost to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. She comes back, she beats Asuka for the title. So now she should be a babyface moving forward against Charlotte Flair. There is no reason in the world that Charlotte Flair should ever be a babyface because it doesn't work.
They've overthought it.
Yes, and that's what it's. Don't get me wrong. They fucked up Rhea Ripley just on simple booking 101. But the reason why I think they fucked it up is because they're trying to make Charlotte the babyface when she shouldn't be the babyface.
And also, I don't have a problem with a DQ on a pay-per-view match as long as it makes sense. You know? And as long as
Did this make sense?
Well, it's in the middle of a feud.
Okay, but just...
And it was in the middle of the pay-per-view, middle of the feud.
Did this finish make sense?
Well, the call by the ref to call that a DQ when there's tons of other stuff that could be called as DQ all the time. All the time. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And
but
that's
I get your point. I get your point.
Saying. I mean, ultimately, we've seen worse, and that's where I was just kind of like, you know, I had to roll my eyes. I'm like, God damn it. Now, see, I knew they were going to extend this feud, but how did they do it? This just felt like, you know, okay, you know, Rhea is the heel in this scenario. So what do heels do to get out of matches where they feel like they're getting ready to lose or they're losing momentum?
They get DQ'd on purpose.
Okay, so that's basically why I'm saying it's less about Rhea, it's more about Charlotte.
There was one more match. Do you want to talk about Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler?
Actually, I do for 30 seconds because this is one of the things where, okay, I get it. You know, they're pushing Alexa Bliss, and that's great. But here's my biggest problem with the match. At one point, they had Shayna Baszler have the rear naked choke, a.k.a. the Kirifuda clutch, on Alexa Bliss. The last time I checked, motherfuckers don't get out that shit. And then all of a sudden, Alexa just rolls out of it like she's been doing it for years. Like she's, you know, natty all of a sudden. Okay, I get the fact that she's got all these fucking superpowers that she stole from The Fiend, but is one of those superpowers being a great technical wrestler? The last time I checked, Shayna Baszler puts bitches out to pasture with this fucking move. And now all of a sudden, Alexa Bliss rolls out of it. I don't care that she won. I knew that she was going to win, but you've done more to devalue Shayna Baszler with this Alexa Bliss feud than you've done with anything else, especially with that one fucking sequence. I get it. Alexa Bliss is the fucking, you know, the flavor of the month again. That's fine, well and good. But I don't want to hear people talking about, oh, Shayna Baszler's on TV, or, you know, she's getting this new character to work out. That character fucking sucks, okay? The fact that she's losing to Alexa Bliss in that way sucked. Take that part of it out, and you want to do all the supernatural shit, all that shit. Okay, that's fine. Undertaker did that shit, so I can't be, you know.
It's not really fine, though. It sucks. It's stupid.
It's the Undertaker's gimmick in the female form. That went over then. This is the same thing. Okay, I'll let this shit slide. That I will not let slide. If you're going to have her win the match, then just have her use all the fucking powers that she came in with and just manipulate motherfuckers like she was doing throughout the match. But don't have her break out a fucking Shayna Baszler's finishing move. I mean, come on. Now what do you do with Shayna Baszler? Now what do you do? I mean, you can't do nothing with her. She's damaged goods at this point.
Yes, she's done.
Outside of that, I mean, like I said, I don't mind Bliss winning. I mean, she was going to win. Okay, that was guaranteed.
Some of us didn't pick it.
Well,
any thoughts on that? No, fuck you. I don't want your thoughts on that. What would be your biggest takeaway from this? I mean, I think that my biggest takeaway from the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which was very average, and then we had another Hell in a Cell match Monday night between Bobby Lashley and Xavier Woods, which makes me think that USA said, well, hey, if Fox
gets one,
then we get one. I think my biggest takeaway from it, though, is Bianca Belair is exactly where she needs to be. She is, this is not an indictment on Rhea Ripley. It's more of an indictment on how they brought Rhea Ripley up. But Bianca Belair is ready for this, and Rhea Ripley is not. Bianca Belair, and that might be part of creative's problem.
It's surprising that it's, under the same umbrella, but Raw and SmackDown creatively just feel like literally two different shows.
They really do. And, yeah, I mean, Raw is awful. And, I mean, SmackDown is very watchable.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Even when you get into the Otis and the Gable Alpha Academy thing, like, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite parts about SmackDown, but at least it's keeping storyline continuous going. It makes sense.
I mean, the floor for Alpha Academy on SmackDown and the floor for how bad Raw can get are very different places.
Yeah, for sure.
Very different.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Raw is almost unwatchable.
It can be unwatchable for a little bit, especially when it's 3 hours and you got to fill this 3 hours with content in some form or fashion. Like I said, I guess my biggest takeaway from Hell in a Cell for me, it was that you could have seen all this on Raw. A lot of these were Raw matches. They end up coming on the pay-per-view, and they didn't do anything really. Lashley winning was the biggest quote-unquote surprise.
I mean, McIntyre has put Lashley over 3 times pretty strong.
Yeah, which I think that's kind of, the pay it forward. Drew was put over with Brock and Big Show within 24 hours. So now, it's time for Drew to, do the favor to Bobby Lashley. So now you have really, at least until the draft comes up, you got 2-3 guys in Lashley, Orton, and Drew McIntyre as your big 3 on Raw. You can kind of build off that. If you can find Keith Lee from the side of a milk carton, you can get him into the mix too. But to me, like I said, a lot of this was you could have easily seen on Raw, and these are a bunch of Raw matches, unfortunately, especially Shaw and Rhea Ripley.
They made Lashley look very, very good.
My favorite match of the night.
And we'll have more to talk about that later when we get into Raw. Let's get to that 2 counts.
1, 2, 3.
All right, the 2 count is going to be AEW Friday Night Dynamite. Last night on Wednesday, I was kind of missing AEW.
Yeah, it felt a little weird.
I was ready to watch it, but I also liked. I had kind of an easy day at work, and I liked going into it with no spoilers and just kind of watching it today, getting ready for the podcast and everything.
Whoa! You watched AEW from Friday night. Today, you didn't have any spoilers?
No spoilers.
Wow. Shit.
I don't get on my wrestling podcast that much. I'm usually just on my regular Ursa_Turbo Twitter. I don't really get on it that much, but unless I'm watching it.
Right.
But it did start off with an experiment, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good way to call it.
With Jake Hager versus Wardlow. In what they called a UFC style, MMA style match. It was in an octagon.
Yeah, I didn't even trip off it was Octagon until you said it, opening the show. But yeah, it's just straight up Octagon.
Yeah, it was in an octagon, and they had the UFC referee there to check him before the match, but then they had Aubrey Edwards?
Yeah.
Aubrey or Audrey?
Aubrey.
Aubrey Edwards be the ref. It's like, I would have had...
Yeah, that's going to say, I'd rather have the trained MMA official, referee that match, but I get it. It's Aubrey. It's your lead official. Yeah, okay.
And she's good.
No,
she's also a really good Twitter follow.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't really follow her on Twitter.
She's fun. I'm just going to tell you what I thought about this. I thought that this was a noble effort in the way that they presented it. They presented it like it was going to be a real MMA match.
Right.
So much so that I was feeling a little worked. I was like, yeah, that would be cool if they just let these guys actually like fight. But I guess Hager would kill him.
We don't know, but advantage Hager for sure because he has legit MMA training. We've seen it. I don't know what Wardlow has done.
This was basically a wrestling match.
It kind of felt like it.
It was a pro wrestling match.
In an octagon. It felt like it was starting to be an MMA match.
Well, and the camera work, too. The camera work was from above, and it was kind of like moving around,
right?
Which I appreciated. But when it fell off for me was when Hager started to... He was getting beat up by Wardlow, and he was... This probably looked like a UFC fight to anybody that's never seen a UFC fight.
Right.
Like they would hit each other and then back off and then kind of stare at each other, which is not the way UFC goes. I mean, you take advantage when you can. You smoke a dude and kill a dude if you can. If somebody's down,
that's
you kill him.
Yeah, this is where it could end immediately.
So when sorry. I can't help it, man. He swaggered to me.
He won the championship, okay? I mean, what the fuck else do you want?
When Hager...
He won the championship.
When
he
Hager...
beat Jericho.
When Hager was really acting like he was almost overselling. When he was acting like he was knocked out, and then he got saved by the bell in the first round.
Right.
Which I appreciate.
That's all good. But I agree with you on that. There was a time where Wardlow had him... mounted or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is UFC or MMA, whatever, in parentheses, whatever, quotations. Anyway, this is MMA. This is where usually the finish happens, whether it's elbows, punches, hammer fists, whatever.
Right.
This is where it's going to start getting intense. And then they let him up. I'm like, well, no, you don't let... No, see, and that's where you lost me right there.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, let's put this MMA, gimmick on the shelf. And then it literally became a wrestling match.
Yeah, and then they have Wardlow getting ready to F5 him. And it's like, okay, all right. Well, this is done.
Yeah. But the Superman punch off the gate or off the fence was cool.
Yes, it was. And I appreciate them trying to do something different.
Yeah.
Because it did. If it would have been Hager versus Wardlow at the beginning, I wouldn't have paid attention. I probably would have fast forwarded to the end. I watched the whole thing.
No, I watched the whole thing too. It was good. It was.
I know,
good
but you watched the whole thing of everything. I'm talking. It's 1:00 in the afternoon, and I know I got to do the podcast in 4 hours.
Right. I say, cut to the chase, motherfucker. Who
right. But I'd say, I'd say overall it was a push. I think it was pretty okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a noble effort, but
I'm glad they didn't go to the third round.
Yeah,
I'm glad they did it like. It was like a real fight.
Yeah. It ended kind of in the way it should. It shouldn't go to a judge's decision or anything like that.
There were no judges.
Well,
they made the point of saying it. There are no judges. They say
that's right.
They said it's got to be a pin.
Okay, I totally forgot.
Knockout, submission, or TKO.
Okay, I totally forgot about that. Okay, more so, I guess, credit to Hager for winning or whatever. But like I said, it started off with good intentions, and then, like I said, and it happened on both sides, where Hager had, you want to grab me one real quick? Yeah. Lower right-hand side. Yeah. When Hager had, thank you, Wardlow down, he let him up. I'm like, man, come on, man. Let's see, this is that bullshit I'm fucking talking about. if
it
you're
was
going to
very
do it,
pro wrestling.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, then let's do it. If not, then let's just have them have a match, and then have Hager even the score, and then we can figure out a tiebreaker at a later point.
See, we're on the same page here.
It won't last long.
Let's keep it going. Come on, we're on the same page.
It won't last long.
We got Team Taz backstage. There's turmoil going in Team Taz. Taz tells Ricky Starks, wrap this shit up with Brian Cage. And then somebody...
Hobbs got pissed off, was like, you motherfuckers left me in the lurch last week.
And Hobbs challenged Adam Page. Adam Page, not Brian Cage, not Diamond Dallas Page, not Christian Cage, not Ethan Page, but Adam Page. He challenged Adam Page. Right? Yeah, I do. He challenged Adam Page to a match next week, which is a match that I look forward to.
For sure. Obviously, I think Page should be the favorite. I'm not going to say he's going to win. Chances are he probably will, but I think it's another chance for Powerhouse Hobbs to make himself look good, get himself over, and then, more importantly, to kind of move the Brian Cage face turn storyline forward a step.
When given the opportunity, Powerhouse Hobbs has never looked bad.
No, that's going to say matches.
He's a badass motherfucker.
Matches might not be 15, 20, 25 minutes, but I mean, the 10 or 15 that he's in there, I mean, he looks good. He's solid in the ring, and that's half the start. And like I said beforehand, Mark Henry coming in, I think that's going to really help Powerhouse Hobbs. He's going to be that guy that's going to be really the protege for Mark Henry.
Now we agree again. This is nice.
Come on,
man. You want to keep it going?
We can try for the next.
Let's keep it going. Okay.
We can try for the next.
We have Darby Allin versus Ethan Page, not Christian Cage, not Adam Page, not Brian Cage, not Diamond Dallas Page, but Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
Oh shit!
They're called the Men of the Year now. Do you like the name Men of the Year?
It took me by surprise, but when they explained it, because I don't watch Dark or Dark Elevation, so I didn't know the backstory behind it. When they explained it, I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those things that's going to have to grow on me. But so far, so good. The explanation was good enough to why I didn't want to shit on it.
And they had like GQ pictures behind them.
So I was like, okay, so
they're smooth operators, right? Like me and you.
Yeah, for sure. I was getting ready to say just in Jack Patrick's gear and a black T-shirt.
Right. So this match went exactly how I thought it was going to.
And the way it should.
And the way it should have. Predictable's not always bad.
No.
Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky beat the fuck out of Darby Allin. Darby Allin fights from underneath very well. And he is
gave himself the high tag in the corner.
He's very sympathetic. He started to get some hope spots at the end of the match and ended up just getting destroyed.
When he tied up Ethan Page's legs, that's when I was like,
great.
Motherfucker, this is how he's going to win the match.
I knew he wasn't going to win the match.
No, I wasn't. That's when I wasn't sure. That's the only time where they gave me enough rope to hang myself, in the sense that now I was starting to get worked up. Darby's taking over the match. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's going to beat Page and Sky like this? There's no fucking way.
I mean, there was, to be fair, there was like a 2-second spot where I was like, fuck. They're not going to do this, are they?
Okay, don't put me on this island by myself.
It was really only like 2 seconds, though.
Okay, maybe it was for 2 seconds. For 2 minutes, I was working myself up to a shoot to where.
But if you're working your way through a story, this is the type of match that you want. Mm-hmm. You know, Ethan Page. I really like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky as a tag team, I like the name Men of the Year.
It's growing
also
on me. It's
quite a bit.
It's growing on me.
Then we had Orange Cassidy versus Cesar Bononi. Dude, I gotta be honest.
Okay. When aren't you honest?
When the wingmen, when Orange Cassidy was getting beat up and he was thrown outside the ring, and then the wingmen started putting makeup on him and started trying to do a makeover on him, I popped. Like that, to me, that's the funniest shit. That is the funniest shit that can happen in wrestling. What's the guy's name in the wingmen that's not Dolph Ziggler's Dirk Diggler? That's not Dolph Ziggler's brother.
Peter Avalon?
Peter Avalon. That dude cracks me up. That's what I want in wrestling. I want the funniest guys on the mid-card so that the mid-card is funny as fuck. This was funny as fuck. I enjoyed the shit out of this segment. What did you think?
I hate to say I agree with you, but unfortunately, once again, I do agree with you.
Ooh, 4 for 4 here
Peter
on
Avalon,
AEW.
Yeah, right. Peter Avalon at the end when he was holding Cesar Bononi, he was screaming like, "No!" That was it for me. I was like, man, fuck this. This shit is too goddamn funny. I'm literally over here on the couch crying because I'm laughing so hard. And they went back to it, and he's still holding. He's like, "Why? Why?" I'm like, man, this shit. And for
if
me,
your opponent is selling on the side of the ring, and you start trying to give him a makeover, that's the funniest shit that can happen. That's why pro wrestling rules.
That made me chuckle. I would be lying if I said it made me chuckle. What made me just belly over laugh my monkey ass off was when, like I said, Peter Avalon was holding Bononi like a little baby, screaming, no. That shit to me was the funniest part of the whole thing. It had nothing to do with Orange Cassidy. It had everything to do with the Wingman and getting the Wingman over for that, like you said, that mid-card comedy faction that, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I'm just not a big comedy guy when it comes to wrestling. I need it in, bits and spots, and this was a perfect spot to do it. It's Orange Cassidy. You know he's going to win, so now you're going to have to, entertain me to keep me, interested, and that shit was funny as fuck.
So let's have this conversation for the people here. Like, I don't think that I'm a comedy guy in wrestling either, but I think that I'm just not a WWE comedy guy in wrestling because I've said it before, if you have a 3-hour card or a 2-hour card, there's room for everything. There's room for people to be very serious. There's room for luchadors. There is room for heavyweights. And there should be
the ladies comedy.
There should be room for everything. What I like the most about wrestling is when the serious stuff just is funny. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that's what the Wingmen are. The Wingmen are clearly... But I used to like 3MB also. Like, I'd like jobbers that take themselves too seriously that just go out and get waxed.
Right.
Which is what this was. Cesar Bononi is not necessarily a comedy guy. He's in a comedy group, though.
He's the heavy of the Wingmen.
I mean, they're called the Wingmen, which is basically saying we're not the best. We're off to the side.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I guess the funny part about the whole thing is even though, like, what is it? Ryan Nemeth and, Peter Avalon are like the leaders, so to speak. But like you said, the Wingmen are like, that guy. I'm assisting you to get you where you need to be.
Right.
I'm never going to be
the
that
Wingman
guy.
is basically wrestling parlance for we're jobbers.
It's Job Squad, it's 3MB, it's whatever. And that's fine. You need those guys. But if I know that ahead of time, in my mind, when I saw this match, I'm like, okay, Orange Cassidy's going to win. You got to keep me invested in this match for however long it was. The comedy kept me invested long enough to where...
And Orange Cassidy sells like a motherfucker, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean... and
he's
Orange
got
Cassidy,
no problem selling.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy's one of those guys, either you like his gimmick or you don't. I like it because I get it.
I like it, yeah.
Other people don't like it, and that's fine.
I just don't think it's main event. Anytime I've talked disparagingly about Orange Cassidy, it's because I just don't think it's main event. And I stand by that. It's not. Peter Avalon's not main event either.
No.
Yano's not main event.
No, but I think I got the sneaky suspicion that I'll go this far. I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhere in Orange Cassidy's run in AEW, I wouldn't be surprised to see him as champ.
Nor would I. I would just like him to take it a little more serious. Like pretend I'm MVP and Orange Cassidy is Kofi Kingston. Mm-mm. This is what I'm saying to Orange Cassidy. I'm like, hey, take shit a little bit more seriously. Stop being so goofy.
Okay, well, just in his defense, I think the triple threat match with him, Pac, and Omega, I thought
it was a great match.
Okay, and I thought he came, as about as serious as he's ever been.
Yeah,
leading up to this point.
I mean, but that's, an entire year of being Orange Cassidy on AEW television does not like, if you just switch it on one night, I mean, I like to see it, but you shouldn't be champ. He shouldn't be champ.
Didn't we have the same, I guess, argument about Kofi Kingston? Okay, Kofi Kingston was, he's part of New Day. New Day is,
No, I didn't. I never said that Kofi shouldn't be champ. I did say that Otis shouldn't be champ when Otis won Money in the Bank.
I agree with that. Otis should never be champion. Okay, that's period.
This is kind of bleeding into our Money in the Bank conversation, which
we can table this for the moment.
We'll get to later. Next up, we had Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega in a backstage segment where Kenny Omega sacrificed Nakazawa. Another very funny segment.
It was funny, but the one takeaway I got away from this was, if you're not a Kenny Omega fan for whatever reason, this segment didn't make you a Kenny Omega fan. It just added kind of like fuel to your fire. The knuckle sandwich reference to a picnic is kind of akin to suffer and succotash to Roman Reigns. I didn't necessarily like that reference, okay? Kenny Omega may not be the best talker, but that knuckle sandwich reference, it just didn't, feel like a world championship material line. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like, some 9-year-old said that. You're fucking Kenny Omega. I need you to come a little harder than that on the promo. Outside of that, the promo itself was fine. Jungle Boy didn't back down. They threw Nakazawa underneath the bus. I mean, everything else was cool. It was just that one spot where I was just like, ugh.
I gotta say, though, I agree. Let Don Callis be the jackass.
For sure.
Because Don Callis is great at being the jackass.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's easy to hate him. I'm not saying that Kenny Omega can't talk. He can. I just think that this was
just better in Japanese.
No, stop. Go on, motherfucker. You ain't shit.
We had Cody and Brock Anderson, Arn's kid, versus QT Marshall and Salau.
Aaron Solo.
Solo. That's how you say it?
Yeah. Dated Bailey.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Dated a chick named Pam.
Pam's got a fat ass.
This is fine. It was fine. I mean, Brock Anderson, this is nepotism at its finest, is not a meritocracy. Nobody ever said wrestling was.
It was what it was. I mean,
by the way, congratulations to Cody and Brandy for having their kid.
Yeah, Liberty
Rhodes. I don't know what her middle
name is. Yeah, somebody said it the other day.
Crazy deja vu. JR sat down with Andrade. I thought this was great.
Perfect in the sense that it kind of dispels a little myth of Andrade can't talk. I don't think that Andrade...
They did have subtitles on for him.
And that's fine. I don't have a problem with
Or not subtitles, closed caption.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have a problem with that, okay? Even when it was, like Kushida or whatever, when they did it on NXT, I didn't have a problem with that. I just want the message to be conveyed. And if it's best conveyed in your own language, so be it. Then throw the fucking subtitles underneath this shit. To me, my takeaway from this segment was the fact that Andrade couldn't speak fluently enough to grab the WWE fan base. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's my takeaway from it. So be it. Maybe that's more of an indictment on them versus him, but an
indictment on WWE audience or WWE?
Both in this scenario. WWE didn't do him much favors. I'll take that back. They gave him Selena Vega. I'll take that back. They gave him Selena Vega, but then for whatever reason they broke them up, so they didn't really do him any favors. The WWE audience, yeah, okay. So what? The man speaks broken English, but ultimately you know why he's here. You know he's got talent. So the fact that he can't be a sports entertainer means that he's not good at his craft. That's why I don't like WWE fans who think like that. It's not always sports entertainment. Yeah, we got a good story. You got to build a story up. You got to have great characters. But at some point, there needs to be a payoff, and that payoff is in the ring. Now, Andrade has proven that he's done it in the ring multiple times.
As aforementioned, we talked about how you have your finger on the pulse of what wrestling Twitter says more than I do.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Who are these people that say that Andrade is not good enough to be in WWE? There are people out there that think this?
Well, yeah, because I think
that's insane to me.
Because WWE is like I said, it's sports entertainment. They don't even really like to refer to this as wrestling. It's entertainment 1, wrestling 2. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, on that scenario, if you're going to have Andrade be a part of this, then you have to put him in a scenario that helps him to succeed. More times than not, especially on the main roster, you didn't put him in spots where he could succeed. You sat in him with what? What's your boy's name that's shoving roses up people's asses now? Okay, thank you. Who was before that? They had a tag team before that, and that didn't work. I mean...
Probably some other Mexican.
Okay, see, and then they had them like, they're fighting other Mexicans. I mean, come on, you can't have Andrade fight somebody else that doesn't have a Mexican.
Let him fight some Well, let's call him Santa Ana.
Okay, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, Andrade deserved a little better than what he got from the main roster. What he was in NXT was fucking perfect.
Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing. At least moving over to AEW. Vicky's going to be the manager apparently moving forward, and now you're going to have probably Vicky doing a lot of the talking and Andrade doing a lot of the wrestling. But for this segment, it just shows to me that WWE didn't put him in a position to succeed, and that's on WWE.
Jason, we are 7 for 7 right now. We are shooting perfect from the field. We agree on everything.
Shit, Ben Simmons needs to take some lessons from us, apparently.
All right, so Ben Simmons. You want to talk about Ben Simmons? Let's do a couple minutes on Ben Simmons. So coming up next, we had...
I dunked it on that motherfucker. Take that shit. You can file me if you want to, but I'm dunking on you.
That poor bastard.
Dunking on you.
Send him to Siberia. He's got to go to like Orlando or something. Like people are talking about him going to L.A. Too many eyes on him.
Go to the L.A. Sparks?
No.
Fuck that. There is no way on God's green earth that Ben Simmons can go to the Clippers or the Lakers.
No, they want to go Lakers.
Like that. Oh. Please, I would love to see that for 82 games.
All right, we have
beautiful.
Next up, we have Adam Page, not Christian Cage, not Ethan Page, not Diamond Dallas Page, not Brian Cage.
Not a rumble in the cage.
We have Adam Page and the Dark Order, which I still don't get. I just don't get it.
I'm with you on this.
It doesn't.
You got me over on this. You don't have to beat me up on it. I was wrong.
Let's mark it down. 8 for 8.
I was wrong. I'll just say this: the takeaway for me on this, I can't speak for you. They brought up Kenny Omega, and Adam Page was not trying to talk about Kenny Omega. He deflected quickly, talked about other guys. John Silver's coming back. Evil Uno, sorry for the loss, but good match. I'm having fun with my boys or whatever.
Just let me know when this gets serious. Like, it's not serious right now.
No.
It sucks.
Anything with the Dark Order right now is not serious. They're the other comedy act. They're the upper mid-card comedy act, and their only upper mid-card is because Adam Page is there.
That's right. Like, there's nothing else that's upper mid-card about them. They are...
No, the fans like them, and then when they go on tour, that will reconfirm that. For you and I,
do fans like them,
dude? I threw it out there. What was the pay per view? We were at Tinder's house. We were all there. It was an AEW pay per view. It was the one where Moxley and Omega had the barbed wire main event.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so I threw it out there. I was just like, Dark Order's not over. Man, my phone started blowing up immediately. How can you say that? Fans love them. I'm just like, look, man, they don't do anything. They are just there at this point. R.I.P. Brody Lee, but once they lost Brody Lee, they have no direction. It's now Adam Page is like the de facto leader, which they haven't named him the leader, but he's basically the focal point. He's the spear, the tip of the spear, and everybody else follows behind him. So either you need to make this man...
He's the tip of a limp dick, not a spear. He is the tip of something that sucks so bad that I want to fast forward every time we get through it.
Okay, fast forward.
Next up, we had Penelope Ford versus, I think her name is Julia Hart.
Yes.
Is that right? She's
yeah.
she's got a cheerleader gimmick with the Varsity Blondes. Penelope Ford gets a rare win. Miro comes out, immediately overshadows it. They had a schmaz. Miro fights off the Varsity Blondes because Miro is fighting Pillman next week. Not much more to say about that, is there?
No, I'm not going to say Penelope gets a rare win. It's been a while since Penelope
She'll never win.
Well, I don't think she'll be like the women's champion, but I won't sit there and say that this is a rare win.
She ain't terrible.
She's not terrible. She's not great.
She doesn't win very often.
No, I won't say that. In this scenario,
I'm not going to manufacture an argument here. I really want to argue with you, but I'm not going to manufacture.
I'm not going to manufacture it either.
Okay,
if it's going to happen, it happens organically, like all things do here. I'll just say this: Penelope Ford is good in ring. She could be better, but for this scenario, she needed to be off TV. Why? Because her hubby got beat down by the guy that's coming out to come out and quote unquote, defend her honor.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's starting to make sense. Kip Sabian will come back. We'll have a Kip Sabian Miro feud here in a little bit, and things would run that course.
Does it look like Miro's turning face?
No, hell no. Fuck no. When he came out, that's Troll 101, that's Heel 101. No, hell no.
It looks to me like he's turning face.
How is he turning babyface?
Because the Varsity Blondes
are baby faces.
Are they? Like
yes.
They were attacking people. Like Miro's got to come out there and defend somebody's honor. Defending a woman's honor does not make somebody a heel. It makes somebody a baby face. That's Wrestling 101.
No, you're wrong.
I shouldn't have to teach you that. All right.
Fuck you.
I'll mark it down. That's our first. Hey, nice job, Jason.
You're welcome.
Hey, there we go.
Just work with me, motherfucker. Damn.
So Vicky and Britt Baker have a segment together. Vicky makes it sound like she's having a match with Britt Baker. I'm not sure that's what's happening.
I thought it was going to be a match with her and Nyla Rose.
I do like
TK owes Vicky a favor for bringing Andrade over, so now the favor is being repaid. You have the Nyla Rose Britt Baker match. That's the way I interpret it.
I do like Vicky and Britt Baker having a segment together.
It's two good talkers. And at that point, just let them go. Nyla Rose ain't supposed to be anywhere around that shit. Just let the talkers talk, and then when it's time for wrestle, you get your big ass in there.
All right, what do you think about Smart Mark Sterling being Jade Cargill's manager?
Funny story. I said that Jade Cargill, when the search was out for Jade Cargill's manager, and Mark Sterling was going to be her manager, I said that, it's good for a start, but Sterling won't be around for the long term. And he tweeted back at me and was like, okay, basically, I'm paraphrasing him. He was like, okay, you just watch. So that's kind of funny in that sense where, maybe it is long term. Maybe it isn't. I don't think it is. Like I said, I think that the reveal, whoever it is behind Mark Sterling, is the bigger reveal, but it's not anybody on the AEW roster.
I think they're great together. I think that Mark Sterling is the perfect guy, and I don't know who he is, really.
He's weaselly enough to where he can get the job done, but when Jade tells him, look, motherfucker, hey, this is how it's going to be, Mark's like, yeah, this Jade said, what he's
early.
A good sidekick.
I know it's early. I think he's got a lot of Paul Heyman in him, to be honest. Like he just stands by Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is ready to go, and they are not anything alike. And he does not seem intimidated by her, and she seems like she likes what he's saying, and I think they're a good pair. And if they end up being the biggest thing in wrestling, I want people to come back to this podcast, this one, BFR, what is it?
211.
211, and say Bill was right.
I'll say this much. They're a good pairing right now. I think Jade intimidates Sterling when she needs to, especially when she's like, oh, no, that's not a part of the Jade brand. We want to do things this way. I'll go this far. I like Sterling. But to say he's a Paul Heyman on the come up, or Paul Heyman-ish, or put him and Paul
Just talking
Heyman,
about his promo.
Put Paul Heyman and him in the same sentence. Okay.
Just talking about his promo.
Look, that's a stretch, brother. I love you.
I mean, obviously, Paul Heyman's the best that ever did it.
Okay. Sterling is good. Okay.
I'm just saying he reminds me of Paul Heyman. He seems like a
Whatever.
guy. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
X right here. I'll say, well, whatever you want to do. It's 50-50. I agree with you in one part, but I can't agree with you on Mark Sterling.
Check this out, motherfuckers. Right now, well, we don't have the time. It's 16:52.4.
I have
That doesn't matter.
4:53 Central Standard
And then the
Time.
main event was a WWE main event. It looks like when they're on Friday nights, they decide not to really go really heavy with the main event because this was a non-consequential match between Penta, Eddie Kingston, Kazarian versus Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers. I mean, thoughts?
First thought, it was before this. They being the baby faces in this scenario, Penta, Eddie Kingston, and Kazarian. They did a backstage promo early in the show, and I thought Kazarian fucking nailed it. It's hard to say when anybody can outshine Eddie Kingston in a promo segment, and I thought Kazarian fucking nailed it in this. Basically, just laying it out there that he's going to haunt Bullet Club, Elite, whatever you want to call these guys, until you guys basically all cough up the titles in some form or fashion. Now, moving forward to the main event, okay, yeah, the main event was a little underwhelming. I mean, it kind of is what it is, and I said it when I watched it, yeah, the heels win, and that's great. It kind of just adds to fans' frustrations about Kenny Omega, about Bullet Club in general. Like, a lot of people were talking about Bullet Club and saying how their fuckery kind of overtakes matches. I know Two Beer is a big proponent of this, where especially in New Japan, their fuckery takes over matches, and it kind of feels like it's bleeding over into AEW, especially with Kenny Omega, with matches with Moose, especially most recently for the title in Impact, and then for this match in particular, you have fuckery to finish this match. So I guess ultimately, that's where the fan frustration comes into play. But I'm just saying that in the long run, I think it's going the big payoff is when we start to see the Bullet Club crumble, or the Elite, whatever you want to call them. When the Bucks lose the titles, when Kenny Omega lose the titles, somebody is going to come over from a babyface faction to join these guys. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to have that swerve coming up at some point. So, I mean, this is just a chapter in the big, long story of Kenny Omega, Bullet Club, Elite, whatever you want to call them. I don't have a problem with this because, like I said, ultimately, I'm here for the fall. I want to see Kenny Omega lose to fill in the blank. My fill in the blank is Adam Page. I want to see the Bucks lose to fill in the blank. My fill in the blank is, I'm going to say it because I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's Santana Ortiz. So, you're going to have these guys in a scenario where it's all going to be one big story. This is New Japan. So you're not going to always get payoffs when you want payoffs. The big payoffs is going to be a year from now when, you have, knock on wood, fans in the stands, and you can really start to get the fans involved and get everybody involved and make it a huge storyline so you can get that pop and you get the big payoff.
All right, that's going to do it for our 2 count. Let's get to that. 3 count!
1, 2, 3.
And for the 3 count, Jason, you're going to be in charge of this, but we're going to do NXT.
And I got notes. I'm so good today.
You got notes? Here's to you.
No, here's to Good Cop, Bad Cop. Shit. Yeah, actually, they had me doing notes this week, so I figured it might as well. I figured it was just going to be you and me again this week, so to take a little bit of load off
Hey,
you.
GCBC, hit me up. I take notes every week.
You sure do, because you the quarterback. NXT this week is starting off with Adam Cole, baby, coming out and saying to the crowd that, number one, Samoa Joe basically assaulted me, so we're going to have a little get. By the way, I love the Samoa Joe comeback to NXT where you were teasing possible matches with Dunn, Adam Cole, Cross, fill in the blank. I love that shit. So Adam Cole comes out and basically says he's not going to have a match. And then one Carmelo Hayes comes out and basically pulls a John Cena, same energy, 2021. Cole cocks Adam Cole in the face like he owes him some money.
So Carmelo Hayes was a.k.a.
John Cena.
No, but what was his name in the Indies? Shit. I knew it.
I was going to say it.
Let's cut this out.
I heard it like 2 weeks ago when he debuted, and they made a point of saying it.
I thought you'd be all over this.
No, I'm sorry, not everybody black. I gotta be,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Just because he's black, I thought you'd be all over it.
Okay.
Christian Casanova.
Okay, thank you. Probably one of the main reasons.
What, he's not your cousin?
No, he's my brother. One of the main reasons I didn't know about him because this is the first time I've literally seen him. So, I mean, anything on NXT is the first time I've seen him. So, I haven't seen him on, indie shows or anything along those lines. So, color me stupid on that one.
Dropping the ball.
Yeah, it's only 24 hours in the day.
You used to be the guy.
I know. God damn it. Mountain Dew doesn't do it for me. At this point, we're doing fucking Red Bull, and that's bad for the heart. Anyway, Carmelo Hayes and Adam Cole come out, and I thought they had a really good curtain jerker match. And to me, it was more about Carmelo Hayes absorbing the punishment, fighting from underneath. Adam Cole obviously goes over in his stipulated match before Great American Bash. But for me, Carmelo Hayes was kind of the guy that, I won't say he stole Adam Cole, Bebe's thunder, but when he came out and they had that face-to-face, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, this looks like some John Cena shit. And he threw out the ruthless aggression line. I was like, damn, this is some John Cena shit. Same energy. He slapped him like, okay. I'm not saying that Carmelo Hayes is going to be the NXT champion anytime soon.
They obviously
think a lot of him to the point where now they're having him cross paths with guys.
And Cole made him look great.
With guys that are going to eventually help, that are getting him over. And then he's going to start to go over guys. And then you'll have possibly a future NXT champion, a North American champion. I think that's hands down. He has a lot of talent. It's just now they have to get him to the NXT, way of doing things. But Carmelo Hayes, to me, was the story of this curtain jerker coming
When
forward.
you open up NXT with Adam Cole, my interest is piqued. I'm like, let's watch this fucking promo. Because Adam Cole is the man, obviously.
Like him or not, size difference or not, he's carried the last 2 or 3.
Does anybody not like Adam Cole?
Yes.
God, that's why I stay off of wrestling Twitter. It's just such a bummer. Everybody hates everything.
Yeah. And look, and I get it, it's subjective, not everything is for everybody. But Adam Cole is like one of the lightning rods.
But if you hear everybody's opinion, all you're going to hear is bad shit.
Honestly, I think if we did like a legit poll of what people think about Adam Cole, there's going to be people like us that really like Adam Cole. They like the ring work, love the character, and look past the size part of it. But there's other guys, the old school guard, God bless them, that look at Adam Cole at 5.
And they'd rather watch Swagger fight Wardlow in a fake UFC match. Fuck off, you idiots.
No,
it's fucking wrestling. It's wrestling. I'm not arguing with you, obviously.
I'm just saying this is where WWE has kind of programmed people to a certain degree.
Yeah,
the big guy dominates the little guy.
Yeah, but that's really old school, though. Like, WWE hasn't been... I mean, it was 2010, maybe 2012, when Daniel Bryan... It was the WrestleMania 30 when Daniel Bryan took over. Like, nobody cares about that shit anymore.
No, people...
Do they?
Yes. Okay, look at
well,
what
then fuck them.
Look at what
fucking idiots.
Look at what Daniel Bryan did. If you're a hater,
this is
Daniel Bryan,
this is the three beers into the night portion of the show.
Look at what Daniel Bryan did. If you're a Daniel Bryan hater or a small wrestler hater, he had to wrestle 2 matches. The first match against Triple H just to get into the match.
Yeah, but that's just good booking.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if you don't like Daniel Bryan and for him to beat guys clearly bigger than him,
right?
And then the main event, and Randy Orton. Yeah. Now you really got a problem.
I was there. I watched it with you.
Look, motherfucker. Look, and what did we do? We marked the fuck out.
Marked the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah. There are people that don't like that shit. There are people that think that is in the professional wrestling that is unrealistic. That Daniel Bryan under no circumstances can do what he did at WrestleMania 30.
Okay, motherfuckers, then watch UFC and enjoy yourselves. That's
and
like
even
really
in UFC,
that's it.
UFC, the small guy can beat the big guy too. You can't look old school. Go back to old school UFC.
I was just gonna say
2, 3, 4.
When me and my friend Kevin Hamilton used to rent UFCs from Blockbuster. That's how old we are.
Okay.
We used to rent UFCs from Blockbuster, and that was when UFC had no rules.
No rules, no heavy,
it was
no
like,
weight limits.
They'd have one big guy versus a small guy, and the small guy would just like, and you did Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock and shit like that, you know?
Hoist Gracie, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and he'd be choking dudes out, doing the Hell's Gate, with, shit like that.
To the point where I'm like, man, this is crazy. WWE's not like that.
If that's what you're into, then go watch real fights. If what you're into is watching guys fake fight with storytelling behind it, and you want to watch like kind of this Shakespearean good versus evil type of entertainment, something that's real simple, but something that's clearly an art form, then you watch wrestling. And if you think that Adam Cole is too small, then fuck off and go watch something else.
Adam Cole has been the straw that stirs the NXT drink for at least 3 weeks.
Well, that's so stupid.
When he's come across Karrion Kross, and I like Karrion Kross, he's carried Karrion Kross the way John Cena carried Roman Reigns back in the day.
Do you know
I'll go that far.
Do you know a fan of the show, and friend of the show, Dan Reuter, who played the theme music?
Yeah.
You know what he asked me? He asked me if Karrion Kross was a reference to Jesus for carrying the cross. And now I'm starting to think that's
not good.
That's kind of good. I think that's kind of badass, to be honest.
No, that's not good.
Anyway, we had Adam Cole versus Carmelo Hayes. Shout out to Reuter. We had Adam Cole versus Carmelo Hayes. Next up, we had Io and Zoe Stark, who are a tag team. All of a sudden, they cut a promo, which is fine. I'm not even going to ask you about it because you'll go on for 5 minutes.
I won't go on for 5 minutes.
Do you want to talk about Io and Zoe Stark?
It's a setup for something to come. What it is, I'm not sure just yet. Maybe it's a tag team run, but it's something up to come.
That was 5 minutes. God damn, it took forever. We had LA Knight cut a promo from his mansion, which I enjoyed quite a bit. By the way, you were right about LA Knight. I know that we talked about it last week, but I can't believe I didn't see it.
No, it felt right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now, especially seeing that promo, I'm like, fuck yeah. This looks like the modern day 2021 $1 million man. He looks the part.
It really is. It really was a great story going into it, and it seems like a great payoff, which is not what you can say about a lot of wrestling. Like, they've done it really.
They got this one right.
They got it right.
And especially when you had Cameron Grimes come in, halfway through and then, lay out old boy, whoever the old boy was talking shit about, old man DiBiase. It was literally watching the babyface turn in front of you. If you didn't think it was a babyface turn, now it's really a babyface turn. You don't lay out somebody you don't know on the street talking about, one of your idols for just GP. You do it because you feel something behind it. Laid them out, dropped the hundo behind them, and kept it moving. Babyface move, man. I can't wait to see what happens next. even if it's not for the title, I want to see these guys just get back in the ring.
It's pro wrestling at its best
Yeah.
in the upper mid card.
Yeah, without question. LA Knight needed something to kind of really get him back going again.
And we were worried about him. We were like, why is he losing?
Yeah.
Why does he keep losing? And now
now
all this
here's the payoff, and now he's back good again. I'm okay with it.
God damn. We keep agreeing on everything here.
Calm down, man. We ain't done yet.
The Way and the Kings of NXT had a backstage segment. Then we had Io and Zoe Stark versus Aaliyah and...
Jesse Camilla?
Yes. I couldn't read my own writing.
Yeah, me too. I have a problem with that from time to time. I mean, to me, this is more about Frankie Monet. Okay, we saw what for me, I saw what I needed to see backstage when Zoe and Io basically were just like, I don't like you either, motherfucker. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But Frankie Monet kind of came off even before that and had Aaliyah and Jessica Mayo, and they were, good luck, girls. We're going to all do great. This feels like the winner's circle. Don't be surprised if that's the name of their faction when they leave the Robert Stone brand is the winner's circle. But that, to me, was the setup.
Wouldn't that be a play on the Inner Circle?
I'm not... Look.
It would have to be, right?
I think we might be digging a little too much into that. But
Winner Circle and Inner Circle, I think that's not digging that much at all. I think it's just a W in front of it.
I took it for what it's worth at the time when she said it. I'm going to win. You're going to win. We're the winner's circle. Ultimately, I think the Robert Stone brand is basically going to get destroyed by Frankie Monet, and we'll move forward.
Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez fought against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon.
Well, no, this was a big-ass schmoz or whatever the case may be, where you had Ember and Shotzi come out and make their, claim for the titles. Dakota Kai has been...
So were they putting the NXT women's belt on the back burner
for
the time being?
No, they're going to do the triple threat next week where you would have...
Dakota Kai turn on Raquel Gonzalez.
I was thinking the other way around, where Raquel was just like, you know what, fuck you. I'm the women's champ. You keep dragging me into this bullshit.
It makes no sense to have the smaller individual be the heel unless the smaller individual is Johnny Gargano. That's bottom line.
Okay, well then we can lead into that. Okay, good segue. Where you had Gargano and Austin Theory versus Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan. Coming into this match, this feels like
it
was a good match.
Loved
it was a good match, and it felt like a match.
All those guys are great.
Yeah, and
including Austin Theory.
Has gotten I wouldn't say gotten a bad rap. He's done some bad shit, but in ring he's good. So I'll just try to keep this as an in ring kind of discussion. Coming into this match, this felt like two heel factions or two heel groups, whatever you want to call them, tag teams, whatever the case may be. But during the course of the match, it felt like the Way became the baby faces.
I agree.
And I said it on Twitter. I'm like, man, what? Are the Ways becoming... I mean, this was like almost a slow baby face turn in front of our eyes. So the Way obviously goes over, and then Johnny Gargano gets the pin. Johnny Gargano goes out the ring, and the next thing you know, you have Karrion Kross come out and attack Johnny Gargano because Gargano was talking that big game smack earlier in the NXT episode.
So
this to me, it's like, okay, we've had this discussion about Karrion Kross.
Yes.
What is he? And now I'm literally watching this in front of me like, is this a face turn? So now it's like, to me, it's like two things that could make sense, but they're not making sense right now.
I think that Karrion Kross was defined as a heel last week with Samoa Joe. Like, even if they didn't know,
and kind of more so with their backstage segment, who's like,
right.
"Yeah, come on, champ."
Even if they did,
Joe's so good.
I know he's great. Even if they didn't know what they were doing with Karrion Kross, they do now.
Yeah, moving forward,
he's a heel now.
Did you see the NXT,
and I think
did you see the main event match he had? Karrion Kross was on the main event with the, I guess,
WWE main event?
Yes.
No.
As the NXT champion.
Who did he fight?
Sheldon Benjamin.
Really?
Yes.
How was it?
I didn't see the match. I just saw the intro, and it was pretty underwhelming. No smoke, no Charlotte, just his same NXT music hit, but...
I mean, that's a match I would watch. Sheldon Benjamin is criminally underused. He could really be a gatekeeper. He could be like the...
Him and fucking...
He could be the Cassius Ohno.
Okay.
For NXT now, if you wanted to be, it's just somebody who could get a great match. Him and
Alexander should have never been broken up.
I know that you're high on that, and I don't disagree with that.
Never.
Like, I won't disagree with that. We'll get a little bit into that when we get into Raw, but yeah, I'm down with the Gargano Karrion Kross match. Of course,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
of course. I'll watch Johnny Gargano fight a radiator.
If there's
that's hooked to a wall, he'd sell like a motherfucker.
Yep.
It's too hot.
If there's an argument against Karrion Kross, I guess it might be in ring. Johnny Gargano is that guy. No, I said it might be. It might be.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily like the character. You're not necessarily sold on the guy in ring. Fair enough.
Just the whole package. Just him with Scarlett.
It's a weird package.
It is weird.
But I think part of it is because they haven't defined what this package is.
Agreed.
It feels like a it feels like a heel package, but they kind of came out as a babyface package. Whatever. Now I guess we're starting to kind of get that shit taken care of. I guess my biggest problem with it, but I guess my point is, if you need to get somebody over in the ring, if your problem with Karrion Kross is in the ring, Johnny Gargano is a good guy to have to get somebody over.
Maybe the best.
Ring.
Maybe the best in WWE. I mean, he's tied for first. Like, there's other guys that can do it. But there's not...
Johnny Gargano is in a space where he could do it and it wouldn't hurt him. Okay? He's not going up to the main roster.
Agreed.
He's there to get the next guy over. If he becomes the NXT champion in the next year or so, it's not the end of the world, but he doesn't need it. At this point, Austin Theory is probably his pet package or whatever. I want to try to get him over.
He's
and
kind
other
of
guys over as well.
Theory's starting to kind of seem babyface.
No, I think it was a whole package. When Johnny Gargano is going over, Austin Theory is probably going over as a babyface by de facto.
Frankie Monet fought. I wish I would have written it down.
My future ex-baby mama.
Oh God. Yes. Yeah. What's her name?
It doesn't matter what her name is. No, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
it
sorry
does.
to say that.
You fucking sexist.
Yeah. Shit.
I'll say this: she is thick.
No,
that was a thick match, and I enjoyed watching it.
Oh, I want to say it's Phoenix something. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I have to get my phone on this one.
Not very good, guys. Not very good on me and you to not know what this chick's name is. I'll figure it out. Go ahead.
What this chick's name is? I mean, you just as bad as I am on this one.
What this woman's name is?
Okay, thank you. I was going to say Blood Girl Raven is probably rolling over in her grave at this point, even though she's not dead.
She knows we're not sexist.
No, but I mean, she was one of the big ones where I was just like, whoever this woman's name is.
Chick had a fat ass. It was good. It was good.
I mean, Puerto Rican, just okay. Stop, Jason.
Jason, Jesus.
I'm sorry. Christ. Good. I'm just I'm single, man.
Just
what do you want? What do you want? I'll say this: Frankie Monet, to me, obviously is the story moving forward. I love the fact that they're making her feel like she is that
Elektra
superstar.
Lopez.
Okay. Why did I come up with Phoenix? Elektra, whatever. Okay.
Fatas.
Lord have mercy. But she was like Carissa Rivers somewhere else, and I can't think what it is or where it was. Neither here nor there. Frankie Monet, obviously, being the story here. I'm ready to see what's next, because if you're going to do heel versus heel, and I'm sorry, Raquel Gonzalez is a heel. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
That would be an interesting storyline. If you're not, that means Raquel Gonzalez has to lose the title. And that means, who do you lose the title to? Is it Io?
Frankie Monet.
No. For me, I would love for that to happen. But this is where WWE has its rules. It's babyface versus heel. You can't do babyface versus babyface. Can't do heel versus heel. So now what?
You know what? Like, my wife and I, we've said if it's a girl, we like the name Frances, and we'll call her Frankie. And if she ends up being Frankie Monet, who is a type of person who is accomplished in her life and who is happy with what she's doing, that's all I want for my child.
Well said. I'll just say this. If it's Frankie, that means A, I'm right. It's a girl. And B, more importantly, you had some shit.
She got a fat ass.
No, stop it. What the fuck? Oh, really? You just said that? Unreal. Oh, my God.
It doesn't matter. It's not a girl. And we might name her Jolene now.
See, it's a girl, dude. You might as well get this thing done.
Who is the battery charge?
Interesting question.
Because we keep seeing these vignettes for battery charges throughout NXT, and it keeps saying like 40, 41%, 50, 51%. Who is it?
Dude, I wish I had a smart backstory answer for this. I don't. I really don't. It's somebody that, honestly, I'll go this far, especially with the end of NXT. It's somebody that they've been hiding on the shelf for a little bit.
So you think it's somebody that's already there?
Already there, and they repackaged them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
And from that point, like I said, honestly, I can't think of
Hit Row squashes Everrise, which...
No, I mean...
Hit Row is...
This is what we talked... Well, at least kind of what we talked about earlier. Everrise is Comedy Central in this scenario, so we're not really supposed to take them seriously.
I've seen funnier.
I'm not saying Yano. I'm not saying I've seen Jesus Christ. I'm not even going to say that Yano's funnier. To me, it's push, because I just can't.
Well, he is.
I can't say that Yano is fucking funny. Okay,
he is.
No, I can't say it. I can't.
He's funny.
Okay. That being said, Everrise, trying to puncture tires and do all kinds of ill shit to Hit Row outside the ring, funny. But then Hit Row comes inside the ring, handles their business. You have Bronson Reed and Swerve kind of, having their little tete-a-tete backstage. So, I mean, Hit Row was the reason why I like factions, because you can have 2 or 3 segments off of just Hit Row alone. And Hit Row is not even necessarily, they're not Undisputed Era. They're just a faction we just put together. And
they
just
can be the new Undisputed Era, though,
if you wanted to.
Because...
There's a lot of.
I'm telling you,
Swerve can win the title.
Swerve
can win a title.
What's the girl's name?
I don't know. I put that out there on Twitter, and I was surprised that I didn't get any.
All right, so we got Ashanti, who's kind of a loose cannon,
right?
And then you have Top Dollar, who whenever Rise was getting ready to spray paint his shit, he rolled down the window.
His
comedic delivery. I was like, this guy gets it. Like,
I'm still not a fan, but this particular segment when he rolled down the window and was like, hey guys, it'd be smart if you didn't have your fucking t-shirts on you while you're doing this shit.
He said ski masks don't matter when you're wearing your t-shirts. That was good. And his delivery of it, I know it's a low bar in wrestling, but it was a good delivery, and I'm real high on them. And then let's get to this main event, because the main event was...
I was surprised you even liked my tweet on this one, especially when it was considering his ROH on it, but go ahead.
I did. I liked your tweet. Kushida versus Kyle O'Reilly was a masterclass in...
Technical wrestling.
It was mat wrestling. It was all sorts of stuff. It was badass. It was reversal after reversal after reversal. It was about a 13-minute match,
Give or take.
if you include the commercials. I loved it. And then, well, first of all, tell me what you thought about Kushida versus Kyle O'Reilly.
I thought it was amazing. I'm kind of a little disappointed.
Basically exactly what you wanted to be.
Because this is what these two guys are expertise in. I'm not expecting them to do moonsaults or anything like that. This is the match that I expected. They gave it to us. It might not be exciting for some, but
this
this
is Zack Sabre shit. It really was.
Okay. I just sat back and just watched this shit unfold. Please and thank you. So that all being said, obviously Kyle O'Reilly goes over. I won't say not necessarily, but when it happened, when the finish happened, I was like, oh shit, damn, it's over. And I felt a little disappointed. So I guess my disappointment was taken away by Adam Cole, baby, climbing over the top. And now you have Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, hashing their shit out once again. And
then you have Roderick Strong with Tyler Rust and an Asian dude that I don't know who he is.
So I asked who he was, and my phone is behind me. Thank you very much. Give me a couple seconds. I know,
but
I don't
they
know
come in and they say we are the Diamond Mine, which is a pretty good name. I'm a big fan of names.
It eliminates the fact that we're talking about Tessa Blanchard, at least for the moment, of the Diamond Mine. Okay, I'm not saying that Tessa Blanchard's not coming over to NXT, but
I appreciate the name though.
No,
Diamond Mine. Diamond Mine is a good name, and Roderick Strong is a good guy to lead a faction, and apparently he's got a new faction.
He's got a new faction
with Tyler Rust,
Malcolm Bivens. I expect to be
Malcolm Bivens,
the mouthpiece of this bad boy.
Because Roderick Strong can't talk.
That is very correct. But more so importantly, his connection with Tyler Rust when he was talking about he's a diamond in the rough. He's a diamond in the rough, and all those little.
So who's the Asian guy?
I'm trying to work on this shit.
This is great. Oh, you want me to buy time?
No, not at all.
I can't do it like you can.
No, I was going to say nobody can talk for minutes upon time like I can.
I can't talk about who I'm going to take tonight. Who should I take tonight? I mean, Suns, they got Chris Paul back.
Chris Paul should be a serious scenario.
Yeah, but Cameron Payne played just as good as Chris Paul could have played the other night. I mean, he had 29 points. 11 assists.
Hideki Suzuki is the third guy. Okay.
Hideki Suzuki?
Shout out to my boy Scotty Wrestling. Scotty, make sure I'm getting this right. Scotty E Wrestling on Twitter. He gave me the answer on this. Hideki Suzuki is the third guy.
So we're into this, right?
I think, look, first and foremost, you know me. I love factions, number one. Number two, the fact that Roddy Strong put his resignation in and then came back with this new faction. Now, what are we going to do? What's this faction kind of going to be? Who's going to whoop down Kushida? Is it going to be Tyler Rust? Is it going to be Roddy Strong? Hideki Suzuki, what's his role in this? So in this
Kushida versus Roderick Strong is a match that I will look forward to.
Well, Is Roderick Strong a cruiserweight? That's my question. Tyler Rust sounds like... Well, no, hold up for 30 seconds.
I didn't say anything.
Roderick Strong was a...
You're like my wife. I didn't say anything. You just immediately go, I didn't say anything.
I'm sorry, man. You want to hug it out? I apologize. Roderick Strong was a North American
That's what I do with my wife. We hug it out.
Right.
After a big old fight.
Okay. Roderick Strong was a former North American champion, so it'd be kind of weird for him to come back down to being a cruiserweight champion. Tyler Rust, however, is the guy that needs to get over. Who can put him over? Kushida. Okay. Hideki Suzuki. That's the wild card of the bunch. We'll have to see how.
Did you think it was weird that O'Reilly went over?
No. I was getting ready to say
clean.
It's cruiserweight versus heavyweight, number one, and number two. More importantly, they did the one thing I asked of building to the storyline. whoever is going towards the title shouldn't lose on the way to the title. Okay, even for the title match, they shouldn't lose. They have to be built up as strong as humanly possible, so that way, walking into the title match, you have the thought of, okay, can the challenger actually lose to the champion? And that's the way you should, well, at least the way I would do it personally, just because, I mean, more times than not, you know, I love WWE. You know, as much as I like to take a nice little dump on WWE from time to time, I do like it because it's the foundation of all of my wrestling knowledge, or at least, you know, the lack thereof. You should have a scenario where a challenger shouldn't lose going up to this point. I mean, you know, like Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat was one of my favorite fucking WrestleMania matches of all fucking time. I was pretty young when that shit happened. I would venture to say that Ricky Steamboat didn't lose all the way up to the fact that when you have this big-ass match, arguably one of the greatest matches of WrestleMania history, okay? I would be surprised if Ricky Steamboat lost up to that point to the WrestleMania match. To me, it's the same fucking thing. You can't have the challenger lose matches up to the title match. If you want to lose the title match, then that, you know, that's your business. But up to that point, you got to make them as strong as possible, he or she, and then you move forward from that point.
That's going to do for our 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we have to talk about Raw. We don't talk about Raw that much, but Raw was pretty okay this week.
It's about to say, I thought you were going to go south on me. I had a mouthful of beer. I was getting ready to spit it out. No, go ahead. What do you think?
So there were 3 Money in the Bank qualifying matches, which were...
Surprise, surprise, and surprise.
Ricochet versus AJ. Ricochet goes over. Very happy about that.
Yeah. Check.
Well, I should have said...
I'm not going to say that Ricochet is going to win the Money in the Bank, but
probably not.
But the fact that A, you have Ricochet winning, and B, you have AJ and Omos going back to...
Well, let's just say that the Money in the Bank is better when it's a bunch of mid-carders.
Yes.
Listen, the last 2 years they have fucked up Money in the Bank really bad. Otis last year, which they kind of fixed with Miz, but it's still not very good.
No,
and then the year before...
Lashley's the end result with this, and Lashley is a good end result.
Of course.
Okay, so I was getting ready to say...
I'm not anti-Lashley. So but the year before they had Brock Lesnar win.
Okay, that's the one. You don't have to have Brock Lesnar.
So in the men's, we had Ricochet win, and then we had John Morrison win, and then we had
surprise
in what was a fucking great 20-minute match.
Yeah.
McIntyre versus Riddle. Riddle goes over clean.
I thought Orton was going to win. Orton versus Morrison. I'm like, okay, I know who's going to win. And then next thing you know, I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I probably should have known that.
They've obviously made a decision to go back to the mid-card. What really bothers me, though, is that they decided to have next week a second chance.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
With McIntyre, RKO, and AJ, which is stupid. If McIntyre ends up winning this, I'm not going to be very happy. I think Riddle should end up winning it, or Montez Ford.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I want to see who the SmackDown guys are, because they're going to have to do the same thing.
I mean, if I had to make a guess, I'd say it'd be Otis,
Big E,
and Montez Ford.
No, they had what? So, you're talking about the winners of
or
those
maybe
matches.
Apollo Crews, I guess, but Apollo Crews still has the belt.
No, I was going to say Baron Corbin, unfortunately, because he just lost his. Oh, Jesus Christ! He just lost his crown to
crown.
Shinsuke. God damn! Never mind. Baron Corbin, I think, would be in the mix, but if you're going to we already gave 3 slots to Raw. The 4th guy is going to be the winner of.
7 or 8.
I thought it was. Well, I mean, you could do 4 and 4 on each side, so you can do 8. I thought it was only 6 guys total, 3 on Raw, 3 on on SmackDown. I could be wrong. No, I could be wrong.
Always 7 or 8.
No, I could be wrong. Especially when you're going with the last chance, so it feels like it would be 4 on the Raw side, 4 on the SmackDown side.
In a perfect world,
Cesaro, Big E.
in a perfect world, you'd have Big E, Montez Ford, Chad Gable, guys that can
Mid-card guys that don't necessarily.
That's what it used to be, though.
They need this push. Okay, Drew doesn't need this push. Drew is there to put eyes on the product.
Here, let's take a shot. I'm going to stop it.
Drew's.
You know what? Never mind. I don't want to take a shot.
Drew's there to have eyes on the product, and I get that. But I don't think Drew needs to have the title at this point. Drew's at the point where if he shows up on SmackDown in a couple months, Roman Reigns needs to be on notice because
listen, Drew has been in the main event of Raw, of WWE proper since March of last year.
Yeah, when he lost,
or April of last year,
when he beat
Brock.
From that point on, in some
it's
form or fashion,
time to take a step back.
Yeah,
if he wins Money in the Bank is not there to be, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Is not there.
I agree with you.
Is not there to be for main eventers who get their other shot. Like John Cena won it one year.
Jinder Mahal was on Raw Monday night, and guys were like,
it was Jinder, Cedric, Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus.
Okay.
And the only 2 guys there that I would be happy with winning are Jinder and Cedric Alexander, and Cedric Alexander's really the only one.
Only one.
Cedric.
Yeah. Jinder's won it. Jeff Hardy,
I'd be okay with Ricochet winning it.
Because
I really want Riddle to win it.
Riddle would be funny in the sense that now you have Randy Orton behind him. And could you really trust Randy Orton?
No, because he got a year. What if Riddle wins it and then Randy gets the belt later on?
Okay.
And then Riddle cashes in on Randy. Now we're talking.
Okay.
That's a story.
Multiple ways to go with it. I was just going to say if Riddle wins and Randy Orton and him are like a tag team and they kind of extend it like they did with Dolph Ziggler or whatever, you could go the way you're talking. He helps Riddle win it, and then he takes it away from him, so it's a long-term storyline. He could fuck Riddle, beforehand. I hate you. I've dealt with you for so many months, so now I can't stand you. That sounds like WWE shit.
I would also be okay with Sammy or Kevin being in it, but I really want Montez Ford to be in it because I think Montez Ford would really shine in the match.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. It needs to be guys that like Cedric Alexander, and I know I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. We forget that Cedric Alexander and Kota Ibushi had a instant classic on the Cruiserweight Classic.
Still never watched it. I still don't think I've ever watched it.
I'm gonna make you watch that shit. Okay, so Cedric Alexander is a guy that kind of needs it.
Man, can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I can tell you what you do.
Fuck you.
like the guys like that are the guys. Okay, like Xavier Woods. I know you're not a big Xavier Woods guy, but if he was in the match, I wouldn't hate it.
No, I wouldn't hate it either.
The fact that he had a great match with Bobby Lashley at the end of Raw, or whatever the case may be.
Listen, Xavier Woods to me is like Darby Allin. He's like, it's not my cup of tea, but I understand that both of them are like super talented dudes that deserve everything that they get.
Xavier can go in the ring.
It's just not my cup of tea.
He's not your guy.
It's like Sting. It's like I'm just saying. Like I don't.
Zach Pullman's rolling over his grave right now.
I don't hate Sting. He's just not my dude. Like I have dudes. They're my dudes.
KO's your dude.
KO's my dude. Stone Cold's my dude. Kurt Angle's my dude.
Dude, Kurt Angle. I'll just say this. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a scenario where we're just going to have to let this thing play itself out, especially with crowds coming back. I mean, we got a little moving parts. There's going to be so many moving parts moving forward, especially, like I said, with crowds coming back. And they already said they're holding quote unquote, they're holding back the big storylines for when crowds come back. Money in Bank is right around the corner. So Riddle could win the Money in the Bank. He could be champion. But if he does, Randy Orton should be right around the corner every step of the way.
I think Riddle would be the right call here. Riddle or Montez Ford. I think Montez Ford is a fucking star.
No,
man.
he's the Shawn Michaels of the Street Profits for sure.
There's a reason I keep bringing him up. It's because I think he's fucking great.
Can we see what the SmackDown side is first?
Can I say this?
Yes.
I think the Montez Ford has the best frog splash.
Whoa.
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
Oh, of all time or just like in 2021? How many chips you gonna put in on this one?
Of all time.
You out your goddamn mind.
Who's got a better frog splash?
Eddie Guerrero?
Why?
Rob Van Dam?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
They don't get as much air.
Just because that's what I was going to say. Just because you get the air doesn't make it better, okay?
Yes, it does, actually.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, that is what makes it a better frog splash, is that if you get more air. If you get more air, it's a better frog splash.
Who did it first?
Who cares?
It's got to come from somewhere. You can't just all of a sudden.
Who's got a better Luthez press, Luthez or Steve Austin? Come on.
Well played.
Yeah,
well
all right.
Well played. Fair enough. Okay.
Love being right.
For once.
Or I guess Jackson Riker could win it.
Dude. Why are they trying to make this guy a fucking babyface?
Because
I take this back.
You know
I know
why.
Vince is a Trump guy. God bless you. I'm sorry. We're gonna get political for 30 seconds. I get it, but god damn, man. I mean, this is not the guy.
Jackson Riker does not celebrate Juneteenth.
No.
He does not.
No.
He wishes there were still slaves.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden, as the black guy in the room, I'm supposed to look at Jackson Riker and just not pay attention
Jackson
to what
Riker was slapping himself with the strap because they're having a strap match. He wish he was hitting that strap on Big E. Plow that field. Jason's gone now. Listen, I'm just saying, I would like to see Matt Riddle, because Matt Riddle seems to me to be the most ready to carry a belt, the most ready to have a match for the belt. He is the most exciting wrestler that there is out there, except for maybe Big E. I love Big E. I would like to see Big E. Listen, if Big E won the Money in the Bank, I would also be mega pumped. Who I don't want to win the Money in the Bank and who won't is John Morrison and Ricochet. Ricochet is like a block of wood who can do a bunch of crazy shit off the top rope. Like, that's what I think about Ricochet.
No. All bullshit aside, obviously I love a Big E, but I just think that this is the scenario where Jackson Riker is...
I was kidding about Jackson Riker.
No, I
don't even want to talk about it.
No, I think it's kind of tone deaf on WWE where you're missing the mark a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jackson Riker is not at least in my mind, he's not a good person. Okay, so the fact that you're trying to make him this baby face against Elias that nobody fucking cares about, that doesn't get either. Okay, look at it from wrestling perspective.
We're gonna find out a lot of shit when they go on the road again, like who they like and who they don't.
Seth Rollins is one of the big guys I want to figure out. Not even figure out, but just see how they treat him on the road. Seth has not been necessarily happy with the fact that WWE's going on the road. He likes the fact that, we have this Thunderdome and you have...
How about this? What about Commander Aziz?
Please. Fuck him. No, I won't say that. I just...
From Ringside.
Not a big fan. Ultimately, not a big fan. He's the next big guy. Who cares? Omos. Omos. Okay, they should have... We picked that on the fucking... prediction segment last week, they didn't even have the match at the pay-per-view. They didn't have the match the next night.
Let me check who won. Oh, man. Zach picked Kairi Sane for Lashley versus McIntyre. We both picked Lashley. I took Seth Rollins. You took Cesaro. That's bad.
Whatever.
We both took Bianca Belair. Ugh. Zach took Darby Allin. What a mark.
Sounds like him.
We both took Roman Reigns. Zach took Ishii. I took Shayna Baszler. You took Alexa Bliss. So we're even. Even. The last two. Anything else that we should get to? I don't think so.
This is banned from ringside.
I just want to say something about a friend of Jason and I's that passed away this last week. John Buffalo Bowen had a lot of good times with me and Jason late at night at Jack Patrick's.
Amen.
And certain other places. He passed away in Maine in his sleep on a boat. I loved Buffalo. Any fun memories about Buffalo?
Always a Cardinals Cubs argument because
Yeah,
he was a huge Cubs fan.
He was.
It's one of the few times
And we
where,
will hold it against him.
Yeah, to the day I die. It's one of the few times where I'm glad that a true blue Cubs fan, and I mean, he was a Cubs fan. You know, he wasn't one of those guys that just jumped onto the bandwagon in the last 3 or 4 years. He was that Cubs fan. The fact that he got to see his team win a World Series, as much as I don't want to ever see the Cubs win another World Series, I'm glad that my boy got to see his team win the World Series. R.I.P. Buffalo, man. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's hard, man.
He was one of a
he was
one of a kind.
It was one of the first things you said to me, literally, when we come in. It's like, hey yo, you know, we do a little Razor Ramon thing, and then he was asking me, did you hear about Buffalo? And I don't go on Facebook ever, and I did go on Facebook this morning. I saw it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So, you know, it's one of those things where, dude, mental health is a big thing, and I'm just going to go aside for 30 seconds. Keep your shit together, man. Mental health is so fucking important. I think I'm a very strong person, but there's times where I think I break down a little bit. Do not feel like you are that guy.
If you have a friend that seems like they're down to the dumps,
reach out, man. You know, you never know. You never know. You might see something that somebody else doesn't. And if you see that, reach out. Make sure that other person is okay, especially in this time, day, and age. It's very important.
Also, if you reach out to them, that might mean the world to them.
For sure.
If you got somebody that you haven't talked to in a while and you think they might be down the dumps, just reach out to them, say what's up.
You'd be surprised how just, hey, what's up? How you doing? You know,
Buffalo always used to say to me, Vaggie, your love of wrestling just fascinates me. He's like, I can't believe he's like, I love it that you love it so much. And I'd be like, yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, I love it so much. He'd be like, you fucking idiot. And I loved him.
I love Buffalo, man. Good shit,
and,
man. Yeah, rest in peace, man.
We'll miss him forever.
For sure.
This is banned from ringside.
We got some birthdays this week. J.J. Dillon.
Okay, so okay. Real sidetrack for 30 seconds. We need to, or at least you need to give me the list so that way I know who is alive or dead. You're making me look bad. They called me out. Jesus
J.J.
Christ.
Dillon.
He's alive. I saw him like the other day.
79. Oh, Jason had breakfast with him. Mark Jindrak.
I would hope he's alive.
44. Matt Stryker, 47.
Definitely alive.
Matt Stryker.
You know,
Matt Stryker was very good on commentary.
No, he's still good. He took a little sidetrack.
Is he on Impact?
Yeah.
Josh
Josh Matthews is doing the shit now.
How much time do you think I have? Heidenreich, 49.
I'm gonna go with dead.
He raped Michael Cole. No,
See, stop.
He did.
He did. No, he did. He really did.
Alicia Fox is 35.
Very much alive.
Cody Rhodes is 36, so he and his kid have birthdays close together, which is good luck. I keep telling my wife that because we're due on 8/21. My wife's birthday is on 8/11. I keep telling her it's good luck, but I can't find it anywhere on the internet that's actually good luck. Terry Funk. Terry Funk.
I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
He is still alive.
Thank you.
77. I feel like I tell this, maybe I tell this every year, but when Terry Funk is on Roadhouse and he yells at Sam Elliott and calls him dad, they're actually the exact same age.
Okay, I was going to say I thought Terry Funk was older, but I mean the fact
77.
the fact that Terry Funk is calling anybody else dad.
They were 45 at the time. It was 32 years ago.
Okay,
It was 32 years ago. Sam Elliott looks like $1 million, and then we also have Scott Dawson, who is either. Is he the young buck with the chops?
God damn it.
Is he the young buck with the chops or the young buck without the chops?
FTR, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but which one is he?
Scott Dawson. Let me think. This is going to be hard right here. Scott Dawson, I think, is Dax Hardwood.
Don't care.
Question mark?
For Lucha Chris. For Murray the Murray Man Murray. For Two Beers, Zach Pullman. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
For Vice.
Triple check.
For John Buffalo Bowen. For Bill's Beard Company.
Check. No, I can say it. Shit, that's my nigga. Say it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it.
No, I'm not saying you say it, but just
support your local weed dealers. Support your local bookies. Black Lives Matter. Support your local restaurants.
Yep.
I'm Bill Vega. That's Jason Cornelius Bell. And everybody boo the heel.